Eyes closed and dreams go free. Got an angel next to me. Hold me close so I can breathe. Let me go so I can live. Where do we go from here? Take me far away, so we can stop the time.
Captain Rion, we got him on the run. Captain Rion.
Where do we go from here? Take me far away, so we can stop the time, and love will take its place. It will be tonight when I turn off the world for you. It will be tonight when I turn up the stars for you. It will be tonight when I turn off the world for you. It will be tonight when I turn up the stars. I turn up the stars for you. Forget your past.
Namaste and like catch my family, and welcome to another Team Light interviews with my brother, Chief Russell J. Gould. What's up, my brother?
Hey, what's going on, Rion? It's honored to be back.
Dude, let's go. I mean, we're sitting here. I'm getting pumped up. Shit's popping. You know what I mean? There's so many things going on the planet right now. And for all my family out there, love you. And Chief's family. Yes, and off-world. Yeah. What's up? Hey, listen. We're trying to keep... listen. We're not going to talk about all the support we got showing up. What's up, player? We got some support showing up. So, yeah, no. I know. Oh, yeah, it's on. It's on. You know, it's here's the deal for everyone that wants to know what's really about to pop off. Some of the things that we're working on behind the scenes are coming to fruition, and my brother has been working diligently, not only in his alchemy, not only in his quantum grammar and his quantum, contractual, I guess, what would you say, contractual law, contract law, you know what I mean? Just everything quantum,
Yeah, it's more of a spiritual, working on myself, doing the work within myself to be the best that I can for mankind and to love my fellow mankind and pay things forward. And just be very giving on full closure and some of the paradigms out here that are converging and coming together and the quantum entanglements and how that all works. So very blessed and honored to be out here. Very, very cool.
Dude, so let's talk about some real things. No, I'm just kidding. We're sitting here before we started, and I was like, oh my goodness gracious. So the world right now, the situation right now in the States, I wanted to speak, momentarily just on there are a lot of distractions going on right now. There's a lot of things out there right now trying to distract you from working on yourself, and obviously some of the tools that are available to you. The main thing right now for everyone is to figure out what's the most pertinent thing you can be working on. What are you working on? Do you have a project? What are some ways that you can improve that? What are some ways that you can bulletproof whatever financial situation or decision you're making? And that being said, my brother, I don't think there's anyone better on earth. You are numero uno as far as the quantum grammar. And now listen, I know there's that guy we see on YouTube that's like, let me tell you something on a Tuesday. But for my squad and for my team, dude, okay, let's just say, let's just kind of like go into like a what if land. Okay, so when some of these financial things happen that are positive, whenever that takes place, my thing is that why wouldn't you want the whole thing wrapped in quantum grammar? Why wouldn't you want every function, every facet of what you're doing wrapped in that quantum in the present now grammar? Now, I'm not even going to go into the vocabulary because you're just like, listen, you've already said 10 wrong things. But what I'm trying to say in the present now, you know what I mean? Like, I think I try. Listen, ladies and gents, behind the scenes, we're going back and forth. We're crushing. We're doing quantum entanglement theories. But what I'm trying to get to with my brother is he's got a beautiful heart. He's here to change the world. He's figured out a way to help us do that. And I think that's the most simplest way to do that with 100% integrity. I mean, you know what I mean? Why don't you share some of the things that are going on right now? And obviously, some of the things that you can help people with. I think that's kind of at least an understanding with some of the stuff that's going on right now politically, and then right now, obviously, personally in everyone's lives. Brother.
Well, thank you, Rion. It's an honor to be here. Hey, it's the quantum now space really is about being a sovereign for yourself. And as you're a sovereign for yourself, there's many things that happen. You get to sit with yourself quietly in a way and really manifest in our minds what we choose. And so in the quantum world of grammar, in the quantum world of banking, the quantum banking system, there's 3 paradigms. And if you really think about it, the paradigm of this tangible 3D nonsensical stuff that they call money has really been a sycophant, a parasite to all the people dealing with credit, debt, common law, admiralty law, maritime law, law of the land, law of the sea, all these nonsensical things. Because when you're in the now space and you manifest for yourself now, does money really come into play? Because it's a spiritual manifestation. So the quantum banking system that I've built actually does away with fiscal money. And we have 3 paradigms built within the quantum banking system that I designed. The paradigms are this earth space banking, which we deal with like your driver's licenses, your passports, setting up your businesses, that sort of phenomenon. And then application. But then we also have a divine space banking, where you get to choose the path by the choices that you make from the inside and manifest that to the outside, to let your light come to the outside, which now takes you into what we call the Akashic or the celestial space banking, which is now more of a being tied to your roots and learning from those roots of your past memories, and now bringing them into the now space to now be a light or a truth for your earth time applications. And so it's a 3-phase paradigm that I've designed. I built this in 2001.
I see us upstairs in our golden robes. And like when it comes to your turn, I'm like, hey, so how are you guys gonna do the quantum things? Like I'm doing some spiritual stuff. We're bagging and tagging. We're moving energies. I'm like, Chief, you want to go ahead and take this one for us? And it just dropped the mic. You walk out there and you're like, we're gonna talk about quantum celestial banking. We're gonna go ahead and bring it down to the physical. You know what I mean? It's like that's the spiritual connection that a lot of people are missing. Listen, everything in the universe is energy. You know this. Everything in the universe is vibration. You know this. Why would you ever be a part of a static system that doesn't follow those basic principles? It's insane. It's not how the universe works. So as above, so below.
No,
you know what? It's not how it works. So the whole thing is everything is vibration. Everything has a tangible frequency to it. And, I'm really excited, dude, for this Marvel team up, man. I mean, I don't know. It's like the Avengers assemble. My thing, what I see in the future with your family and you, especially at the helm, with a lot of things that's going on this planet is, one, me and you, I see us in some sort of rad R&D warehouse with just white lab coats and some 80s pumping. 80s pumping in the background, and we got those little wheelie things, we got the little wheelie things going through the warehouse, like just making awesome shit, Okay, I see all that, and the word kiln, that was my specialty because we're both alchemists in our own way, you work with alchemy, I'm in the, I just got back from Tucson, I'm crushing up 6,000 pounds of stones in the garage, mixing different things together to get different, frequency outputs. Yeah. You could talk, about some of the stuff you're doing. I mean, that's not confidential, but we're doing things, we go ahead. Okay, go ahead. People want to know. I mean, you could tell them a little bit. Tell them a little bit. A taster.
So imagine we're being bombarded by outside energies, and those outside energies are in the vacuum of space with magnetic flux. And that magnetic flux is creating a flat line of scalar energies which hover low to the Earth. And so those scalar energies influence electron flow and manipulation of matter. So what I do is build these things and put these little dampening fields around where I work in my workspace so that the pure thought of my volition and how I manifest my love into my work now can be not influenced by an outside source. And now you don't have the mass manipulations, and you can actually control the parameters and the parameters of what you're bringing in, and then stabilizing them through, what we call, the trons, or what they call electrons. I call them trons. But yeah, it's just fun work.
Oh, hey, listen, dude, what do you think is the ultimate like superhero team? You like Dan Winter in the plasma? You like Dan? I know you like Dan Winters, right? What do you tell me about Dan? What do you feel about Dan?
I like ether, and looking at the
Ophiuchus, bro.
The structure of. I do for me, because you get to test that spirit because things come with that, as you know.
Yes.
And so you really get to test your capacity to make a good choice for mankind. So I really love that. It's not like a challenge, because do you do the correct thing when no one's looking? Right. And that's
100.
really the focal part of where our leaders have lost our honor. Right. We don't honor any leaders out here because no one's done the correct thing when we aren't there looking. So my thing for my team and for the people in the quantum grammars, we want to do the correct thing for mankind when no one's looking. Because when you do that, the manifestation, when the light is on, it just magnified more in beauty and love and kindness for our fellow mankind. So it's a much different application for sure.
No, 100%. The cause and effect of the universe, what I always say is that, especially with some of our star beings, and I'm glad you brought that up, and the assistance that is showing up in the upper dimensions and, phasing into our reality, I'd like to say that one law that I always follow is cause and effect. Because if you cause certain things, there is an effect. And I think that a lot of us are emissaries of change on this planet to make sure that this change happens in a positive direction, a positive timeline for all time for humanity. And I feel that many of us have different skill sets. Obviously, your skill sets you have many skill sets, okay? We wear many hats, with a lot of the things that you are creating to assist humanity. And I think all of us on the earth have these special qualities that really need to shine now. Now is the time for the entire collective to stand up. Now is the time for everyone to bring your gifts forth. Now is the time for all of us to come together and really show. Because listen, everyone's got a different skill set. I am not a master, agriculture, like mixing plants together, arborologist, whatever it is. Like everyone has the different skill sets. Some people love music. Some people are artists. Some people are architects. Some people really are into landscaping or creating or mixing or alchemy. Everyone has, those are just small things I'm mentioning. Everyone has their specific skill sets. What I'm trying to say is, as we all come together to share those skill sets, goodness gracious, the amount of talent that is on this planet is insane. The whole point is we got to come together and get organized. And I think hasn't that not been the biggest issue, is even in the organization, then it breaks into small little cliques and people are kind of going against each other instead of working together. I know you've experienced some of that as well,
Yes. Yeah. For me, I've been kind of a lone guy, and I've been attacked and had the blessing to work in many different theaters in the labs in metallurgy because I built the quantum banking system. So of course all the bad guys were attracted to it, and I got to work with different scientists around the world and change the condition of their hearts, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a condition of mind, and you win and lose by how you choose. And so if you choose poorly, you get poor outcomes. If you choose in a positive way, you get positive light and love. And so the world, as far as I'm seeing it, is shifting in a real positive scenario where good people are coming together. And what the quantum grammar, I hope they take a serious look at the mathematical algorithms of the quantum system, the quantum grammar that I've put forward to the world, because that gives a chance to where we can communicate neutrally, to where we can put our needs on the table and come up with a solution and settlements to make positive performance in a now-based scenario, and then we can translate it to our brothers from Iraq, our brothers from Afghanistan. We don't have to drop bombs on anyone, right? Before it was only a fool rushes to war because they're too stupid to communicate, or they're too greedy, because the choices in the spirit within their crystalline energy is that which creates havoc in the world. So as we take as those energies get quarantined, for better lack of words, we have to be very cautious on how we neutralize that. And we've got to do a better job as light bearers of the world and people that are of the world, to really focus on, instead of focusing on that person, let's deal with the energy around it. Let's cut the energy sources off around that, which is creating havoc for our fellow mankind. And if we do have to, unfortunately, separate the body and the spirit, let's make sure the spirit doesn't get to jump. That's all I'm asking for the boys, right? Don't let the spirit jump. Just from my own perspective.
No, hey, check this out. I'm with you 100,000%. I follow 100,000%. So the issue is that what he's speaking about specifically, ladies and gentlemen, is, let's just say people talk about these attachments, these negative entities, whatever this may be, this programming, some of this stuff that may be attaching to a human vessel that is altering their consciousness, and in some cases getting behind the wheel and driving. What I'm getting to is he's explaining. Yeah, what he's explaining is that let's go after the energy which is affecting our brothers and sisters who we love, and taking away some of that integrity or morality in the situation, because we're just following orders. What is the program? Another thing too, a lot of my buddies are ex-military, and I was talking to my one boy and I said, how many injections did you get? He goes, bro, they shot me at least 7-8 times. You don't know, being in the military, what they're injecting you with. And then if they are playing with frequencies, if they are modulating the field, if they are saying, maybe your integrity saying, hey man, I don't want to do this. These guys are broadcasting some weird frequency that's interacting with something you're jabbed with, that's causing you to go into a uniform function. So what I'm getting to is, for everyone out there, forgive yourself, ladies and gentlemen. And for all my brothers and sisters that are in the military and all forms of, the military on the planet, here's the issue. It's okay to be unconscious at one point in your life, but this is what we don't want. We don't want the shame pain game to happen after the fact and then put you on a couch in depression for 20 years after you retire. These guys win. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like, there's how many people came back from Vietnam that still have nightmares of running through the jungle and crazy stuff happening. In my family, the guy was a ranger with over 200 confirmed kills. Okay? Confirmed means, that means someone watched someone pull the trigger and watch the target drop. That's a lot. And the issue is that to this day, guy can't sleep. Guy has horrible dreams. So what I'm getting to is,
I've seen it myself.
Yeah. So the thing is that I've seen my brothers and sisters like, hey man, I just joined because they're good people. They wanted to do something good and change the world. Maybe they like a little more action than a normal person, right? Let's just say. But what I'm getting to is, what is the function behind that, and the rhyme and the reason? Who are these puppeteers behind the scenes that hide in the shadows, that decide these things that we do to each other? That is what a lot of us are here to fix. I'm not here for the human vessel. I'm not here to point fingers at people. What I'm here for, and what a lot of people upstairs, the beings are here for, are the jackasses behind the scenes making moves, manipulating humanity to hurt itself. That is what we're here to adjust. And I think, in the energies of the quantum field, let's just say, we got to go after what's really causing some of these issues, right?
Absolutely. And one of the things also, Rion, not only should the soldiers that have done this that need to forgive themselves, but they need to love themselves, right? Yes. Because love is the cure for all of this. Mm-hmm. And so we have to focus on like building up your self-esteem up, and building your families up, and then loving them, and really feeling good about that love. And that sustains the day in the end, is the forgiveness, and they're willing to say, hey, I made a wrong. I'm stopping and correcting. Everyone has the choice to stop and correct. And then what do they do with that harmonic resonance for the rest of their space? Do they share love? Do they give things forward? Are they thankful? Do they give thanks every day? And so these are things that we really have to study our moral compasses, eh, and really hone those skills and gather our thoughts in a way where it's beneficial to our fellow mankind and our loved ones.
100%. I could not agree with you more. You know, the whole thing with a lot of the stuff that we're doing here together is bringing all these things out on the table. You know, it's like Thanksgiving, man. All the stuff comes out on the table. Everything is looked at, because when you hide things from yourself, especially, that's when that negativity, that darkness gets in. You know, it's never in public when you're with your friends. It's all that weird stuff that happens when you're by yourself or when you're going to bed at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When do these negative thoughts affect you? It's never when you're out and, you know, in public. It's when you're alone and you start thinking and pulling up these memories. And there is different technologies. I know you're working on some things, and I'm also working on some things to assist in raising a person's vibration to help them transmute some of these issues being down here in the physical plane. But to remember, we all kind of signed up for our role down here, one way or the other, through free will. Maybe you signed up, maybe you didn't know you were going to be a soldier, but in your life path, you're like, that was one of your choices. I have many friends in this way. But what I can say is, having gone through that, hey, I love that my friends and family are well trained. I love that a lot of our friends are badasses. You know, do you agree? I mean, I'm sorry. I love having guys that are technical. One of my guys showed up on an activation with, you know, 2 Navy SEAL bags and 100 foot of rope in each bag, ready to rip. He's like, are we rappelling down mountains? I was like, where have you been the first 10 years of my activations? I like guys that do real shit, ladies and gents out there. So I appreciate that. But that warrior spirit is something that we need to reflect through the collective consciousness. And instead of separating, you know, this for the military and the civilian world, to understand that, hey, our moms, our dads, our sisters, our brothers, we're all down here together. And the issue is that what we're really trying to figure out, and what's really the hot topic right now on Earth, which we're seeing play out politically, right? Even right now, as we say this, playing out politically, is who are we listening to? What is this shadow government? What is the military industrial complex? What is this shit that, you know, a lot of, you know, the Truman and all this stuff that was signed in? And even for me, I go back right back to 1905. I'm going back to 1905. I'm going back to 1925 when the Rockefellers brought in this fake, you know, public school system and the pharmaceuticals and all this jazz, which we are now dealing with in a real way. You know, it's in our face. We have no choice, right? So what I'm starting to say is that everything that we're experiencing right now, we're seeing in the present. And in the present is where that power is to change it. But it also helps to realize where we came from and how we got to this place, or we're destined to replicate it. Does that make sense? So I know you've talked about some things about 1776 and how the creation of our Constitution was different from a feudal system. You know, you want to talk briefly about that? Because some people might not know, like in the very beginner, they might not know how we were originally set up in the United States, right? The Republic of the United States, mind you, not the corporation, and how that kind of got, you know, hoodwinked into what we're dealing with now.
Yeah, it was more of a self-governance, right? People would like carry their own guns on them if they had a dispute. Well, what do they have to do? They had to settle it. That's the way some people chose to do it. Some people chose to do it negotiating. So it's more of a self-governance at the time. The governments were there to be slaves to the people, which has been inverted through the years, where the government is trying to keep the people in bondage. And so they've done that through these words on contract and this postal containment of this docking system through our birth certificates that they've made as this real credible document to control what we can or can't do for the rest of our lives, either to go to the hospitals or go to our public school systems or to get a driver's license or a passport or to go get a college education, whatever it takes. You needed that idea, that concept of this slip of paper. But what happens when the paper itself was no good because it was fraudulent grammar? Then how do we go about claiming ourselves? And so this is where the claim of the life system comes in. And you know, I'm not really here to push all that. I'm just here to give closure on what I've done for the world and to give closure that there is a system that is not within the shipping containment that allows self-governance for you and your loved ones, your families, your businesses, and totally changing the concept of how a business works, and basically giving everybody their own judicial system, because everybody gets to judge themselves. Give everybody their own court system. Give everybody their own banking system, because you know what? You're the best judge of yourself, and you know how to handle your needs. And then learning how to communicate with your fellow mankind in your community settings. This is where the quantum grammar and the structure comes in, to create a liaison or a pact with a certain concept, either for building equipment or whatever you choose to do. But so let's do things in a timely manner, so we don't engage in subjective interpretation to allow the rats of the attorneys to get involved in a fraudulent court systems worldwide that harvest the people and keep the money basically in the attorney's pockets and the court's pockets, in control of when you can and cannot spend your money, be it family probate money or whatever it is. But it's always about controlling this concept of money. And so the quantum system that I've built actually does away with the concept of money, because for me, and what I know, my manifestations is there's copious wealth everywhere, my man, and you don't have to mine it. And so when we see some of these tech companies, and they're coming out with some of these batteries and some of these things, to me that's like pretty archaic technology, right? To run a lithium battery it's not very efficient. We're seeing the consequences of that, where you have people in Chicago being shut down on the streets. Their cars won't go up and down the streets because it's too cold, or batteries are starting on fire. I mean, there's a lot better ambient superconductivity metals that can be used in your brines for conversions of your hydrocarbons. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that. But this is the nonsense that they give us. And that's why they go to in their war theaters to blow up countries for their lithium or whatnot. It's archaic at best. And when you look at monoatomic matter and those laments, that's a whole different structure. And there is no such thing for your audience as a rare earth metal, because it's everywhere, right? This is craziness talk. These are buffoons that have not done the work. And then, of course, they isolate the technology and ship it to the East, so that the common man over here in the former United States doesn't have access to atomic tweezers and some of these things, to get the rare earth metals and isolate specific things. And so it's really, really a shame that this has happened to our former country. And I'm seeing good people rally everywhere. I'm seeing where we're having our own market trade ports. We're being able to trade amongst ourselves, where we're weeding an ideology, a concept of negativity out of our lives through the cleaning up of our own work, our own mess from the inside, and then shaking off the dream killers. Right? They're shook off. A little while back, I did a detox called Combo, which is the secretion of a frog for detox. And one of the volitions I said in that was to shake the dream killers off in my space. And I feel really positive ever since I set that condition of thinking in the celestial realms, to not allow those to try to thwart that which I know that there's so much love and giveness that we could give to the world. So it's really fun.
Yeah, and everything works hand in hand. And for me personally, working with many gifted inventors and things of this nature, to steer around some of the ways that they catch you. The patent office is not the way to do it. I'm sorry. Just stay away from that. You got your address, your social security number. Stay out of that way, and especially for all these people. I don't know if you saw, there's a very awesome inventor, I forget his name, in Africa right now, who's running cars on radio frequencies, televisions on radio frequencies. I mean, this new technology is coming out one way or the other. There's another thing too. I mean, I was looking at the diagnostics and the blueprints from Toyota, who's trying to do the hydrogen cars that run on water. My main thing with a lot of this stuff that's coming out, I mean, they need to stop this nonsense with pillaging our planet with some of these ridiculous mines. They need to do more alchemical things, which you are expressing, to get the same output. A couple molybdenum plates, and you can create a very powerful hydrogen engine. They need to stop with this. And the reason why they do it is because they can notate and charge, 1,000, kilograms of lithium costs X. they're so lazy in how they've had wealth and this artificial sense of entitlement and power through these families. It's systemic and it's parasitical. And the issue is that they want you to think that you need them. We don't need any of these families whatsoever. No disrespect to these families, or maybe you're a grandson of one of these families staring at my face. What I'm trying to say is how many people have stepped forward, especially that one gentleman who created that documentary. I forget his name. He was part of the I forget what family it was, but he's talking about 0-point technology devices. And he says, my family is not against us. He's part of the old school. I forget his name. I'll put it in the video right now. What I'm trying to say is that there is a new generation of us indigos, which we are a part of, and these crystals, and we're tired of being fed lies. We're tired of a system that is corrupt, and we're tired of you're wasting our time on this earth where we have our own free will and a specific way that we wanted to live through our own experience. What these morons are doing is stealing our experience. As far as I'm concerned right now, I'd love to go to a space dock with you, brother. Hop on our hoverboards, go to a space dock, and then do a lap around the solar system. You got us down here playing with freaking oil and gas. I mean, this whole thing is so ridiculous. If you have any sense of who we really are, where we come from, the extraterrestrial and interterrestrial beings and their levels of technology, which are 1,000 years in the future, and we're sitting down here going, who put these jackasses in charge? Why do I have to follow this ridiculousness? And I think is the funniest thing about you is you're like in the quantum realm, you're like, oh, this whole thing needs to be rewritten. The entire thing is absolutely ridiculous. Why are we following some kindergarten narrative written in 100? I mean, what is this? It doesn't even make sense on any platform that you would ever say it mathematically. It's a complete shit show. What are we doing here, ladies and gentlemen? And I think that's where a lot of our energy comes from, is that we want better for humanity. We are better than this, brother.
We are definitely better than this. One of the things that we need to be conscious of is looking at our memories coming up through our DNA and some of the structures there. And we have to be careful, and we have to really focus on, I want to just share something that, your audience may know about or may not know about, but some of the concepts and some of the spiritual things that have been done to subvert us is through concepts of what's called changeling. Are you familiar with changelings?
I've heard it before, yes.
Okay, so this is where structuring and creating DNA functions, and we have to be really cautious as when you see some of these things coming to play now, where they're taking the child and birthing them in pods, right?
Yep.
And these in vitro pods, and so my natural query is where's they're tied to the ancestors through the DNA through the womb. Is there a soul? Does it lose the memory of what it is to be a free thinking being on this planet? Does it lose the empathy for fellow mankind? So these are things that we need to really be focused on, because who's programming that changeling? Because there are like you said, very gifted beings on the planet, and who have been gifted dimensional closure, who are moving into these theaters quite rapidly as the slow kill is taking form. So the slow mercury amalgams, silver tooth amalgams, fluoride in the water, all the nonsense, right? Plastics, everything. So yeah.
I can say.
Go ahead.
No, I could say a couple things on that. From what I understood and what I remember before I got here, especially the Orion Gate Wars. Number one, it's 1/8 of a soul to make a clone. You need 1/8 to animate. So you're never going to have a full embodied soul in a suit if you clone it. The thing about CRISPR and modifying some of the DNA functions, you do have the potential in retrieving or using certain DNA traits for an outcome that you want. However, you lose the natural organic function of a soul entering into this space. You have to remember that so for everyone who I'll explain it a little bit like this. Imagine upstairs you're a V12 Ferrari, okay? And you don't know, okay, and you're incarnated into this, this suit that is organic, born on Earth, let's just say grassroots, non-GMO. Okay, here's the issue. The potential for you to take that upper dimensional soul, and throughout time and space, usually that's why the human brain really fully develops when you're around 25 years old. It takes time to fully embody an upper dimensional soul in the physical, okay? But if you mod your DNA, you'll never be able to get that V12 in the suit. What you're going to get is a V4, a V6 tops. I'm giving you an example of like horsepower to thrust ratio of how much frequency can flow through you, because what you're doing when you're turning off or modding your DNA is you are turning off the ancestors from the past, your lives, your memories. There are things that you cannot see or comprehend that you are snipping. You are snipping things to create something new. And in that way, ask the Greys. Why don't you ask the Greys what happens when you start cloning yourself and you take technology 100,000 years into the future only to hit a dead end to come all the way back here to connect back to source. So what we're dealing with is a multidimensional causeway of how to do something, why you do it organically. What is this thing with the human heart? What is this light? What are these emotions? What is this love frequency? Because our Creator, I truly believe, comes from the place of love. It's 100% bliss and love. Well, here's, that's what I feel. I mean, you know what I mean?
I'm a lover.
Hey,
I'm a lover.
So you're a lover. Hey, listen. Hey, you call it what it is. Love is how we get through these turmoils. And anything, it's like, how do you fix the problem? More love. How do you help someone get through a traumatic experience? More love. That's the answer for everything. How do you help someone when someone's going through something? For example, a dog from the shelter. How do you help that dog come back into be a normal, animal after it's gone through so many traumatic things? Love. More love. Unconditional love. Yeah. The more love you pour into it, that's all it is.
Many different facets.
Yes.
Sacrifice, giving, caring, listening, many different facets. And so these are skill sets in the quantum grammar world that I've created in the now space, is when you preset the facts. See, facts don't have feelings, Rion. Facts don't have feelings. You use the prepositional phrase to preset the facts. So now that we can look at the verb of thinking and ask the tougher questions, hey, why were the facts conveyed? What was the condition of mind to convey these facts? And did it harm our fellow mankind or did it help? So, these are things that I love in the quantum grammar.
No, my guides are going, you're going deep, huh? You're talking about clones and changelings? Like, whoa, we're talking about quantum grammar. I was like, I remember the Orion Gate Wars. You know what I mean? I got memories. You guys want to play the memory games? I know it takes 2 souls to operate an Orion tank. How about them for memories, okay? A lot of us down here, we're bringing all of our skills to bear. When I look at you, all I see is my brother we're here to crush. Like, there's no other emotion that comes from me other than love, appreciation, and that everyone on this earth imagine everyone on this planet, it's like one huge apple pie. My brother took his piece of that apple pie and crushed it, and then made templates to teach the planet how to not get hoodwinked and pulled into some weird alternate reality, And all of us have our skill sets that we're coming together. And I think that's the unity, man. For all my guys on my squad, when this financial flavor pops, whenever this happens and whatever this is, my brother, Chief Russell Gould, baby, he's my quantum guy. Good luck, Chuck. Hey. You're going to walk into a courtroom. Yeah, I'll be like, let me stop you right there. Chief, could you come in here and go through our land lease? Could you educate this judge in the state of Arizona on how this works? I'm just going to walk out the room and go, he's about to cook this dude. So what I'm getting to is ladies and gents out there, find your A-team. Find your family, find the like minds, find your brothers and sisters, come together. Now is the time of the great gathering. And I just wanted to say, every time I look at you, I'm just like, oh no, we're here to change the world. There's no other way. You could have convinced me and you know this, to come down here and go through all this BS and all this trauma to go, oh no, I'm going to finish my job. I'm going to cross all my T's, dot all my I's. I didn't come down here for a half scoop of ice cream. We came down here to change the world. And as he's showing Master Alchemy casually on camera, like Merlin's boss, he's like, oh, you mean like this? Transmutation. So, I mean, that's all I wanted to say. And everyone on the earth, get pumped. I don't know, check out all the work he's doing. You guys need to get pumped. Get out of this Debbie Downer negativity. I'm trying to tell you, our Star family is here. Yeah, our Star family is here watching. They got our backs. For all of us down here, we are divinely protected at all times on all sides. And now here's the thing. I know for some of your people that are diehard fans, and I love them and I see them in the comments, I want you to take this last 10 minutes, bro. Share with the world your vision of what you want this world to be, how you see it coming together, and then obviously how people can implement things to assist that. I mean, it could be everything from melodial titles to, like I said, that's just an example. It's like, I want everyone to hear your truth. You know what I mean? Translated for someone who just doesn't know who you are, but just wants to figure out like what's going on and how can I lean against this machine that's been created to distort our reality and take away our freedoms. You know what I mean? I just want you to, because your people love you, bro. So I want to give you this time to just share a message to humanity. I know I'm gonna pull you in. Share your message with humanity, my brother, because you know what I mean? You deserve a platform to do that, my brother.
Thank you, Rion. So the quantum grammar is about structuring contract for your corporate world. And as you structure that contract, it does away with government agencies' capacity to control the wealth that you have coming in, the illusion of tax, because I've built a tax structure that the people don't have to be taxed. There's everybody, it's the same for everybody. And it's more based upon not what you make. And so the quantum grammar presets the facts and your terms, the facts, your terms, in a now space function to give you control of the outcome which you so choose for your life. Now, as long as that control is based in accountability, which means you can't take a corporation and go to war and create all kinds of havoc out here and all kinds of carnage. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is managing your own life, staying in your own lane. Just as we drive past each other in opposite directions every day as we navigate the roads of the world, we make a choice not to swerve over in the other lane and hit someone. So the same thing holds true with the quantum grammar. We take our contracts and we contract with our people and direct the corporations out there that choose to come in and out of business with us. That these are the full closure terms of word terms, so that every word has a value, and so attorneys and courts can't get involved in subjective translations on what the words say on your contracts. Every word has a value, and the fee for freight, which is the postage on contract, is asset based. So I have a whole quantum postal system set up to where we have our own stamping system, and we're not bound to the parameters of a fiction grammar system that does not ever pay anybody back through their what they call insurance. But IN means no as a prefix to a word, so they give you no assurance. So people wonder why they're not being paid back and that they're supposed to get some kind of insurance policy back. Well, the word itself is bogus. It's fraudulent. In means no as a prefix. That's why they do investigations to your functions. In means no as a prefix to a word because it's a preposition. But when used as a prefix, it becomes a particle of negation, which is a negative. So what we're doing in the quantum grammar field is we're creating positive scenarios using positive words. Well, if everything in your construct is in a positive format, what do you think the outcome was going to be?
Positive.
Positive. If you use negative words in your contract, what do you think the outcome's going to be?
Exactly. Negative.
The opposite. It's going to be a negative. So what happens here is we're really breaking down the roots of words. And so that if we do choose to go into contract with those words, everybody has the translation and the closure on what the word's supposed to do to create the performance on contract. So that's the first rule of contract is knowledge and comprehension. Without the knowledge and comprehension, you don't have the capacity to state a claim if there's if somebody breaches the terms of contract, because the words are all screwed up.
Yep.
Now the courts can engage in control of the financial system because they're using those words, not telling the general public, using the word system against them, tricking people to come into their systems and get an opinion and not a fact. A court will only give you in its opinion. Well, I don't give a damn about anybody's opinion. Show me the facts, and then let me figure out and ask the questions. Why are the facts being translated on my business matters? Right? Are the facts being translated on my business matters? Because the business matters are trying to aid my fellow mankind, share with my fellow mankind love and positivity.
Yes.
Instead, the court systems are trying to break it down, and I'm just trying to say, well, here's my light, here's my love, here's my caring for you. Please use your words cautiously, because if you don't translate your words, someone else is going to do the translations for you. And if they do that, do they have your best concerns in mind? I don't know. Each circumstance is different. There are good people everywhere, and there's bad people everywhere. It's a kind of catch 22. I challenge people to do due diligence before they get involved in business. Really spend a little bit more time, looking into things. Look into your words. Look into your corporations. Look into how the structure was set up. I take it back in the former United States to 1775. It's a different parallel because I got the access to the books of Benjamin Franklin, so it gave me a different storyline. I still love the concept of 1776, but I comprehend how that was used as in the commercial world to create a scenario of bankruptcies, holding to these families like you were talking about earlier, and those timelines and those time frames have ended. And so now they're totally rogue, and when they set up their ideologies and their concepts and wrongly lead the success, the people, excuse me, will put the best, they think that they're voting. They think that they're putting in their leader that they so choose. But the guidelines to elect the leaders is written in fraudulent grammar. So how can you truly have the correct leader that you want?
Right. No, I get you 100%. I mean, just a food for thought. I like, in this new world that we're creating, together, there are some things that I would love to, and you're probably one of the only people that could probably do it, is, for example, when they went after Disneyland in Florida, what happened, right? When it finally got to the top of the court system, when DeSantis says, oh, you're going to do this. You're going to do this. Okay. Yeah, you're going to do this. And all of a sudden at the very top of the letter that came back to them, you can't tax us. We're owned by the crown. This is, they had it like Prince Charles owns the land in Disneyland in the United States. So this is just as an example of some of this stuff. Because when you start talking, bro, I start thinking, I'm like, how can we do this in other countries where we actually say you have a humanitarian thing, let's just say. You want to build something, let's just say. You want this thing to last 300 to 1,000 years based upon the building materials and what you guys are going to do for the benefit of humanity. Okay. How do you guys make this whole thing bulletproof no matter what country you bring it into? Well, the only thing that's a universal thing that's going to work with that is mathematics and facts, just like you were stating. Mathematics. Mathematics is a universal language. It's a universal language for everyone. So I'm like, So if I was talking to a country and I was like, how do I create a humanitarian fund that you can't steal from? That no matter who you put in as president or what have you, this structure will stand for eternity. How do I rebuild some of these locations? Go ahead.
So that's what I found in my studies, Rion, is as you take your corporations to other foreign countries or foreign corporations, Those countries get their authorizations to exist from their central post office because it's a shipping containment for authorizing corporations. And so what I did is I restructured the top of the pyramid, so to speak, in Bern, Switzerland in 2001 and rewrote the guidelines so someone could put a mankind venture in there to aid mankind and do it in a way that they're in the world but not of the world, so that the outside world could not translate the words, because to take the corporation to another country, you would do it through these postal mechanics, and those postal mechanics would keep the corporation and the shareholders or whoever's the bailment manager on it in control of the volition of the direction in which the corporation is choosing to go. Then they come into the postal construct and they set terms, and the things about the quantum grammar is it writes frontwards and backwards, which lasts forever. So it's a totally different concept of shipping containment, and all countries in the world are in the same new world order of postal. And so I restructured that to give fairness to the corporations, fairness to the people, and transparency as well as privacy. Because I think it's very valuable too for businesses to have privacy for their clientele, so they don't have to give up specific data, right, on biometrics, or somebody comes in and does business with them. It's nobody's business. It's that business, as long as the transaction's beneficial between both parties, the business and the client that's coming in or the customer that's coming in. That's good enough. They should not have to give the data to a third party coming in asking, well, how much did you give that person, right? So I built a system to give corporations a lot more privacy, but at the same time, they have to give closure about what the volition of their business is doing. So their business is not out murdering people or something like that, right? They can't. Can't use a shell corporation to hide things that are public safety hazards.
100%. And like I said, so it's so funny even how you mentioned that, and how, Biden got in trouble with so many shell companies that they came out of the Ukraine. There are all these different, shell companies hiding certain things from people and what they were doing, moving money around. So it's just interesting to me. Me and you could talk about this for hours, but what I'm trying to get to, ladies and gents, is in the same way that some of these behind the scenes groups have been doing nefarious acts for quite some time, the light also has a way to bring everything into the light in a balanced mathematical equation of quantum grammar to make it an even playing field for everyone. And I think that's really what the translation is, because what I'm seeing is we're one family on this planet. So what am I conceptualizing?
Yes.
What are we conceptualizing? We're one family. There's no borders. Okay. If we're one family, how can we create something that stands the test of time, that it turns into a situation 100 years from now where these parcels of land or these projects or these humanitarian efforts that were done and started now in the beginning of the Golden Age, because I do believe we are at the end of the Kali Yuga and the beginning of the Golden Age. My thing is that how can we create something and put all this energy and effort into it? I mean, from what it looks like to the marble, for me, it's like the marble causeways, the pillars, the whole creating the holy of holies. Okay, because I know a way how I can keep negative, low frequency, lower astral beings out of a space. I already know how to do that. So what I'm getting to is, how do we create these spaces that are really the holy of holies on the earth, and then how do we almost take them in a financial quantum grammar position where they are separate, a part of, but separate from anyone throughout all time and space coming in to try to mess with them? Do you get what I'm saying? Why are we going to put forth all this effort to build these things just to have some jackass 20 years from now go, oh, we're taking this over because this is the... No. I want, and I think the whole world wants, something to believe in where the goodness in us can be shown to the whole planet. Our true peace and harmony and what we choose to create on this planet to be brought forth, and the true merit of our spirit and that divine function of reality that we truly come from to shine once again on this planet. And that's like, for me, you know what I mean? Like, you're one of those missing pieces, bro. I know, you know exactly what I'm saying. Go ahead.
That's where that's where the divine space banking comes in. And so I allow people to set their portfolios for that. I don't give that out. People, unfortunately, if there weren't so many crazy actors in the world, I could say a lot more, but that's where the divine space, because that is more of a being a pillar for the world. And there are a lot of leaders in the world other than myself that have that choice if they so choose. I'm not going to be judgmental, right? Not my job to judge anyone else. I'm judging myself and I'm living myself, brother.
Right. 100%, and that's what we can do together. And here's the thing. It's too much for any one person to do. And I know sometimes you've been under extreme stress because you brought this platform forward, and there's a lot of things that you've had to go through to make that happen. I mean, like I said, you guys can check out all that information on your website and the path and the years and years of bringing this to fruition. My thing is for everyone to not only appreciate what my brother has created, number one, but two, to realize that this is like the Olympic race and this is the baton race, like where there's 4 guys running. You know what I mean? And it's like you give everything you got and you hand that baton off and you just trust in God like, I got this, bro. And I think that's what we're doing together. We're in this relay race together. And me and you, bro, like I said, I look like this. I feel really old inside. I wish I didn't feel as old as I feel inside this suit. But what I'm trying to say is that in this relay race, bro, I just want the whole world to know you've got some very strong brothers and sisters out there, and you have the right intent within us to do this. You're not alone, and we will get this job done. And my brother, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on my podcast our podcast here at Team Light, dude. Was there anything else you'd like to say? Yeah.
Well, I just like to challenge the world to, just be accountable from within and to not judge a book by its covers. And don't judge people, take a look at ourselves first before we start throwing stones at other people around the world.
Yes, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure being with you guys tonight. And my brother, Chief Russell Jago, where can they find you? I'm gonna put all the links on there, but where can they find you? And if someone's just finding you for the first time, how can they look at your work?
They could go to lastflagstanding.com or fortheclaimofthelife.com. That's FORTHE, theclaimofthelife.com. So fortheclaimofthelife.com, they can see the work there as well. But it's an honor to be on your show. Hey, and the April 7th and 8th thing, let me give you.
I wasn't going to bring it up, bro. Listen, you're the one who put it. I wasn't going to bring it up, bro. But hey, listen, we're putting the family back together. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can, just feel the vibe of what's about to go down, okay, ladies and gents, just realize all of the pieces are coming together. That's all I'd like to say about that, And April 7th and 8th, it's on. It's on.
Okay. I'll let you know. I'll be in touch. Like I said, I don't really like to go out to the public sector. I'm more of a private guy, more of a just chill guy. But I could
hey, listen, there's no paparazzi. We got security. Well, my brother, man, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure having you tonight. And for everyone out there, you guys have a great week. Much more to follow. Until next time. Peace.
Eyes closed and dreams go free. Got an angel next to me. Hold me close so I can breathe. Let me go so I can live. Where do we go from here? Take me far away, so we can stop the time.
Captain Rion, we got him on the run. Captain Rion.
Where do we go from here? Take me far away, so we can stop the time. And love will take its place. It will be tonight when I turn off the It will be tonight when I turn up the stars for you. It will be tonight when I turn off the world for you and you. It will be tonight when I turn up the stars. I turn up the stars for you. Rewind, forget your past.